Hey, it's Allie Edwards, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my completed Week in the Life album and talking a little bit about the things that I have done and added in here after I shared my initial in progress post. You can click to see my in progress post where I show you my basic foundation. I talk about what Monday looks like before I did any embellishing. Since then, I've printed all the rest of my photos, I've printed all the rest of my journaling, and I have done my embellishing, which is a very light embellishing, which is pretty normal for me for this project. So I'm excited to show you guys how it all turned out. All right, let's start with the inside of the front cover. Again, just as a reminder, I'm using a 8x10 album. So it's 10 inches wide by 8 inches tall. In the inside cover, I had some of these wood veneer titles that we had made available for Day in the Life this year, which is another documenting project that we do, a one-day documenting project. We do it twice a year. But I had one that said around here, and I thought this would be a great place to actually add in the dates of the project for this year. So that's added in with red line tape. And then we move into the main portion of the album. This I showed with the preview post. So this is my title page, full page photo printed on photo paper here at home. I added on a couple chipboard pieces, one of the wood veneer pieces, and then this Dave Matthews quote there that I love. When you come into the album itself, let's get this all settled in there. I did a reason why, and I added on a pocket page and cut up one of the journal cards. Again, you can see more about that in my previous video. Diving into Monday then, we'll just do a little bit of a flip through here. This again was put together prior to that first progress report video. So when I did the progress report video, what I was thinking, the way that I would proceed was pretty much what I did in terms of getting all my photos printed, getting all my journaling printed, and then going in and adding embellishments. And I used embellishments that we offered as part of our Week in the Life collection this year. And I also used embellishments from my stash. So things that were out on my table, things that we've released recently, add-ons, things from other kits. I just went through and kind of figured out what actually supported my personal story, right? And the things that I wanted to highlight in these stories. And so I had these gold foil words. I had used word phrase stickers, a bunch of clear word phrase stickers, and I used those in a few different places. And then I followed a pretty similar formula in terms of where I added embellishments. So photo collage here, I added a wood veneer embellishment. I actually stamped on the top of that. That was in the previous video as well. I loved doing these photo collages. It's a different way to look at the day. There were some times where I was like, oh, I wish I kind of had, this one particular photo enlarged. But what I was thinking about as I was doing this is, one of the things that I love about this project is it invites me to take so many pictures that could then be used for stories in the future. Like pretty much any one of these photos here, I could pull it out and do a page or tell a story just about each individual picture. And I love that that invitation is there, but it can also exist within this project as a whole. So then we follow my formula where I've got my journaling front and back. Some of the days journaling had 3 pages, and when it did, or it fit on 3 pages, this is on a 6x8. I decided to keep things in the page protector this time. It will come on to another 6x8. And so I also have the Today in the News. This is part of a digital download that we have available in the shop. And I added on the New York Times each day, and then I stamped on top again. That was in the process video or the progress video. I also, you'll see here too, I added Avery index tabs along each of the inserts. So any of these ones that are kind of in the smaller page size ones, I added Avery index tabs. And for the stamping there, I used a rolling stamp actually that we had offered many years ago now. I think it's been a while since we've offered it, but it's got some sentiments on there that fit perfectly inside the Avery index tabs. So kind of bringing that back out. And then adding embellishments again from my stash. So I opened up my plastic boxes where I have lots of my embellishments stored, just kind of looked through and looked for ones that would support the story I wanted to tell. Also added in all of the vellum days of the week. You'll see that in various places throughout the album. There's also a vellum piece there with the chipboard on top. So pretty much as I looked at my photos, any of the enlarged photos got an embellishment on it. Some of the smaller photos also got an embellishment on it. And so here's another example. This was from June Stories by the Month, these little speech bubbles. So I ended up adding some of those in there using the letter stamps, the wood alpha stamps. Also, you would have seen those wood alpha stamps in that progress video, the in progress video. So I showed more of the process at that point in time. And I went in and added handwriting, obviously, and then stamped the day there. Then you can see on a lot of my photos, I didn't add embellishments too. And that was another choice that I made as I was going through the album itself and kind of figuring out how much do I actually want to embellish this particular project. If you've been around here for December Daily, that is a project where I do a ton of embellishing and a ton of creative scrapbooking sorts of things. Whereas this project for me is really more about the straightforward documentation and then having a few products to be able to support that storytelling. So this is actually added on the outside of the page protector here. For Monday, I needed an additional page protector. I didn't add an additional page protector on any of the other days because I didn't have as many photos. But I added another one of the plastic pieces. That's from the main kit on the back. And here's another one of those speech bubbles. They pop up from, in a few different places here in the album, but I just stamped on top. And the So Many Dishes relates to the stories that I've been telling in the journaling as well. Then another thing that I did is I took one of the stamp sets that we offered this year for Week in the Life, and I did a little bit of stamping on for each day. I did the Remember This stamp with the stamp on the inside. You'll see this repeated on this collage of photos for each one of my days. Some of you guys might remember when the collection went live this year, I did some sample stamping with this particular stamp set. And here were some of the variations or different ways that I was using the circle one. And so I decided to go just with the simple look like that and then punch it out with a 1.5 inch circle punch. And then again, finding pieces from my stash. So this was a half circle from a previous kit, fabric half circle, that says "This Makes Me Whole," which felt perfect for this picture with my parents. And now what I would say is I didn't look at this picture and say, I need an embellishment for this picture. I'm going to go look for an hour for an embellishment to fit with this picture. I went to my embellishments, and as I was looking through my embellishments, just, grabbing them out of the box, pulling things out. Here's an example of one of those boxes. So what I would do is I would say okay, here I gotta have a bunch of these puffy circle stickers. Let's see which ones are sentiments that could fit with one of these stories or fit in with Week in the Life or fit in with these everyday stories. And then I kind of just had them out and available to me so that when I came to this part of the project, I was like, oh, this would be a perfect place to add that on. And I say perfect in quotations because I don't, that same sticker could really go on any of my photos and be and help tell that story too. This was repeated for each day. We would see that in my progress report video. And then we move into Tuesday. So the rest of my photos all being printed now. I stuck with the same formula, a full page intro photo, a collage on the back. You'll see all that. This is one of the little embellishment clusters that I created. You're going to see this repeated in a few different places. So using the small vellum hearts with the canvas words on top, there were some ing words, and then I also added a clear word phrase sticker. I think that this one might have been from Week in the Life. There was one little word, and then there was also one, I think, in the Unexpected story kit. So that would be another spot that you could find some of those clear word phrase stickers. So we've got the full page photo then that goes into the collage. Again, I love how those turned out. In the progress video, I talked a little about the June Stories by the Month kit and how I felt that was a great supplement, in terms of embellishments. So I have got a few things that are related to summer, related to the season that we're living in, adding that chipboard right on there. Just one thing. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be more if you want it to. I'm just sticking with what feels good for me now. So then I've got Tuesday words that go onto the back. So here's an example of where it stopped a little bit shorter. And when it did, I've done a couple different things. One of them is just this. I added on some of those vellum embellishments there, just layered a couple couple of them together. We've got the in the news. On all of these, I did a 3x8 photo on the back and added an embellishment. Here's a spot where another one of those gold foil words popped up. Again, that was from a recent Story Kit add-on, I think. And then I just added in my, a little bit of facts and feelings after I looked back on what I wrote for the day. For most of my days, I was able to add in photos. I think on maybe it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I didn't have enough photos to add a photo here. And so I ended up writing on Friday. I wrote in the squares. And then on Saturday and Sunday, as you'll see, I just did a single photo and I cut this out. But I did go ahead and use that circle stamp again on each one of those. I did have fun taking pictures of some things around the house. I feel like that almost needs its own project. I need to focus on just going around the house and taking pictures of found things. Here's another example of that vellum, the gold foil words there. And then I also added a bright pink word phrase sticker, which I can't remember where that one was from. I just keep all my word phrase stickers all together in the same spot. And then repetition, right? So I've got the Tuesday, which I talked about on Monday. So you're going to see that on each of the days. And then here's another one of the chipboard pieces from June. So June love for me is standing out and watering. All right, then moving into Wednesday, same formula again. When I am picking the large photos, a lot of them I ended up were pictures that included me, but not all of them. So like Monday was Anna on the front. Tuesday, I think, is me. A lot of them were ones that included me, not for any other reason other than just I kind of like the reminder that this is my story and that I'm the main character in the story. But this could be, I don't always go like, this is from the evening. So the first photo doesn't have to be the morning. That's something that you can keep in mind. A lot of times I like to flow them. So let's talk about this one first. So this is in my bedroom. This is set up with a timer. I followed that same formula, embellishment formula, where I've got the heart there, the vellum heart with the ing word and then the word phrase sticker on top. I don't think I do that on all of them. I know I didn't do it on the first one. They're each getting one embellishment. So if it made sense, or one embellishment cluster, if it made sense with with the word there, then I put it on the top one. When you move to the next page for the collage here, this one is generally kind of in order in the morning, but not necessarily. Some of it was I needed to move things around based on where people were looking, like the cat. Like if this picture of the cat was over here, he'd be looking over there, and I kind of like it better when he's farther over and looking in. It's little stuff like that that you can either be obsessed with or you can just let it go too. Here's another embellishment then, again, added on to the collage page. This is one of the wood veneer pieces layered with the chipboard piece on top. Then we've got the Wednesday journaling there, and that ended up being 2 full pages. And then we've got the news going into, loved adding this one in there too. So here's an example where it looks a little bit different, right? I used one of the bigger hearts with the canvas word, but still that idea of bringing together a couple of embellishments together. This is the You Make Me Happy When Skies Are Gray, was from a add-on, I think last year maybe, and it's one that I used last summer, and I had an extra one. I found one and I liked that with the life changing related to the dog. That's just added on top of there. I did stamp my words for each day, my one word for each day on the vellum. I like having that in there. It's kind of like a resting place in the story. It makes you pause there and be like, oh, okay, that was the sentiment for the day. For Wednesday up here, one of the things I wanted you to note, I did add podcasts again. That was something else I put on there previously. I did the weather. I wear an Oura ring, so it had like my sleep score. And then this is from a past blog post, and it was something that I had shared on Instagram, and so I added it on there. And then I have a quote from Cleo Wade that I added in. So this is nice to see. It doesn't always have to be photos that you take, right? It could be screenshots. Other things could be added in to support your story. I added in, this is another June Stories by the Month chipboard piece. This was when Simon and I were watching the last Obi-Wan Kenobi episode. Again, canvas, half circle. Those were some of the ones, or fabric half circle. I pulled those ones out. And here's a spot where you can see I did the same one that I had repeated in other places, but this was like a big eating photo. And so I was able to use the canvas word with the heart. didn't have to be strict and have it on the front of every single full page photo in the beginning. Just wanted to find a place to add that in where it made sense. So with the girls cooking there. Then moving into Thursday, I've got the large photo again of me here, same embellishment cluster added on the bottom. We've got the collage of photos on the back. Loved it intermixing the things. Like, I really liked being able to intermix the flower photos or the garden photos in with the people doing different kinds of things. Like, I just love seeing that as a part of my overall story, because it really is a big part of my overall story, especially in the summer. We've got the Thursday journaling with the additional piece on the back. For this one, I decided that because it would have been like one column, making it 2 columns, and then just I had another photo that I was able to use, and I added the vellum on top. We've got the in the news, our days are made of moments on top of there. Love the 3x8 photos. Like, I like having the variety of the photo sizes in here too. That feels really good. Then I've got one word. It was routine. Just thankful. That's from the June Stories by the Month, but any one of the chipboard pieces, you know, that you might have could fit with that. Got a work picture there under Thursday. Then here's one where I just did photos. Like, it didn't have any little extra things or any other random pictures. I just added in a few different pictures. One of my favorite photos was this one. I thought about using that as the main photo for the day, but ended up with the other one. Added in a few photos too that Erin took of me. This is one, and I was able to use the watching because that's what I was doing there. And then here is the back photo. So again, I've got the full one that's a 10x4, right? The full page one. And then I have the collage along the top where I added on that circle again. I really, really like having those collage pages. That worked really well for being able to add in a number of photos into my project this year. Friday was a challenging day, and Friday is very representative of my personal story. So thank you for being respectful of that. So I've got a photo of Anna and I today there. And then moving in, same thing, collage, right? For this one, I added on one of the Friday vellum with the one day at a time there, a variety of photos. The in the news, some of my reactions to what was happening in the news are included on here too. We had a one little word Zoom call that morning. Here's the example where on that 4x6 card, I just added in journaling. So I didn't have a bunch of extra photos for Friday, so I went ahead and just hand wrote that in there. A couple photos down here. Again, I didn't put embellishments on every single photo. There have been years where I've done that, and this time I just didn't feel like I needed that. If there's a lot of stuff going on just with the amount of photos and the amount of words that I've added in, I felt like that felt like enough for me. So added on again a little fabric half circle. Sometimes when I'm adding to a project like this and I'm looking at my embellishments, what I did in this case was I went into like this particular box and I pulled out all the fabric ones that I have from previous kits and decided to just add in a few of those. So it lended a little bit of consistency without having it to without needing it to be the exact same on every one. So rounding out our Friday, we've got the other photo there of Anna and I together when we went to a protest. And then I have the circle along the bottom there, that same thing that I've been following and adding onto all of them. So I didn't have a photo collage here for Friday, so I just did 2 10x4 photos because I just didn't have as many photos. So it's nice to remember, you know, this could be 2 photos, right? It could be 3 photos. It kind of depends on how many photos you have and how many you really want to include in your project. Okay, so then moving on to Saturday. For Saturday, I went with another yard picture. I used a couple different embellishments here. This is another one of the gold foil ones, and then I've got the chipboard piece there that I layered it on top. Here is where I found a use for the learning canvas word there. So that was fun getting that in, learning with the 2 dogs. So here's another example. On Saturday, I didn't have as many photos. So doing a collage on the back of the main photo didn't make sense for me this time. So I've got that on there. Then we've got the Saturday stories. And here's an example for Saturday and Sunday. Because my journaling was shorter and I had fewer photos, I chose to add pattern paper and or an embellishment on top. So this was from the June Stories by the Month kit. This one is a pattern paper from one of the story kits, which we now include outside the page protector 6x8 pattern papers in there. So that fit right on there. Just trimmed it off a little bit on the edge. There we've got the news, we've got Saturday chores happening. So the Saturday was added on with another one of the chipboard pieces from the main kit. Saturday, the word I put was simple. I like simple. Simple's nice. Another photo of myself there. Then you come back to the back. Here's where you can see this is where the 4x6 card has been in the other days. And because I had fewer photos, I simply just cut the Saturday out of there and added it onto a photo of Isaac. This was a Indigo Girls quote that I shared recently. I can't remember. It was on Instagram a while ago, but it's a quote that I just love and feels very specific to this season. Here's the playing one, Betty playing with one of her litter mates. They're following that same formula there. I've got work time added on to one of those speech bubbles. Again, look in your stash and pick one thing or one or two embellishments that can add consistency if you are looking for some more things to support your photos. I haven't really talked about these that much, but I followed the same formula here too. So I picked a morning, an afternoon, and then an evening photo for each day of the week. Then we've got one more photo collage. I was able to do one photo collage for Saturday. So I decided that because I could fit it on here, I went ahead and just used it for this one. I didn't have enough photos to do a double page for the back of that full one, but lots of variety, right? Variety in what's happening. Got a nice photo of Simon there watching Loki, which is a fun show to watch. And then moving into Sunday. So Sunday I started with this photo of Simon and I. This was using the wide angle on my iPhone. I took all my photos with iPhone this year. So wide angle, which is fun because you can see the full of the room, or a bigger view of the room. It's obviously a little bit distorted, but I think it's kind of fun. So Simon was teaching me how to play one of the video games that he likes to play, so we're hanging out on his bed. I added a vellum piece and then one of the chipboard pieces on top. Loved having that angle. Here's actually the spot where I started with the speech bubbles, because I had this photo of a shadow photo of Betty and I, which I love shadow photos. And I just thought this was fun and funny to put, bark, and then me saying good dog, just with the speech. I just liked that. It felt like the right thing to add onto that particular photo. So moving into Sunday, I've got the first page of my journaling and a little bit of the journaling on the back. As I looked through my pattern papers, I have the Currently pattern paper from the Currently story kit that we had earlier this year, and I added on one of the pleather circles. This was from the Week in the Life collection. So just added that on there as an embellishment, where I had a little bit of additional journaling on the top. Then we've got the newspaper for that day. We've got a picture of Simon, again with a day of the week vellum, the vellum heart there with the plastic piece on top. Moving in, the only word, for this project, almost always on Sunday, I just feel grateful. I feel grateful for the project. I feel grateful for my life. I'm usually feeling very tired of the project, but even just having a few weeks pass, I love being able to flip through this and see what life looked like at this particular point in time, even during what I would consider a pretty challenging week or weekend anyway. All right, so here is Sunday then. On this page, I've got one page of the food delivery there. Here's where I cut this guy out and added that in. Resting, lots of rest on Sunday. Also lots of cleaning around here on this particular day. Here's another one of those wide angle photos. This is Aaron and I making the bed in our bedroom. Used the chores vellum there. I've got these guys represented along the bottom. And then I'm finishing it off with two different photos. One photo of Betty, which is very much this season, right? This is the life that we are living. And then I've got one full page or full photo here with the Sunday stamped added on it. This is from the hydrangea. And then this was something that Anna had written and left on my desk. It was like already on a ripped piece of paper, I think. And I just decided to add it in. This is a great example too, that if you have little kids or you have artwork or other pieces of things, you can always just punch holes in it, ephemera, stuff you picked up in your life. Just FYI, Anna calls herself favorite daughter and Audrey calls herself favorite stepdaughter, and that's how they put their names in my phone. So it's kind of a running joke, but not a favoritism sort of thing. All right, so it always feels so good to wrap up this project at this point in the process. I'm always ready to walk away from it for a while, and then I will love opening it up next year as we get ready to do Week in the Life again. Love the opportunity to do these deep dives on each day of the week. Love just embracing what I got, right? And not worrying about the things that I didn't get. There were lots of pictures that I didn't take over the course of the week, and that's okay. I'm gonna keep telling stories, right? I'm gonna keep doing memory keeping. I'm gonna keep celebrating the life that we're living, even in the midst of some things that feel intense. All right, my friends, that's a look at my 2022 Week in the Life album. Let me know if you have questions in the comments below.